everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Picking and Putting. Yeah, I can't do that right. It's Dr. Z here with Liberty Bill. We're both in the South Charlotte studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're here to talk a little sports. I have no bias on the Final Four, as you can tell. I'm totally unbiased. I have, for all you Carolina people out there, I got a He's Not Here cup. If you've been there, you know where that is. And if you're from Durham, I don't care if you know where that is, but that's okay. And we're going to talk a lot of sports. I just want to say today's episode, I've named it the Will Rock a Rock episode. And next year, I just want you guys to know that next year's, I've just heard this, you're only hearing it here. It just came in from it. Oh, I can't hear you.
News.
Okay. It just came in from live for next year that they've just told you who the announcer for the Academy Awards is next year. It's Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock.
Yeah. The Rock is going to rock the Rock without Will. So there you go. Well, you got any shout outs for this week, Billy?
You know what? I actually want to give a shout out to Roy Williams, Bubba Cunningham, Hubert Davis, anybody else that was associated with putting Hubert Davis in place now. I don't think Carolina gets to the Final Four with Roy Williams as the coach this year, using the old school two big guys, focus on sell out for offensive rebounds. The point guard is just a distributor. I just don't think that's the right way to do it anymore. Hubert Davis getting Brady Manick, the transfer from Oklahoma, shifting to more of an NBA style. It took this team a while until the middle of February. But if you run the numbers, the KenPom.com equivalent, Bart Tovik, since February 17th, Carolina is playing like the best team in the country. They deserve to be here, and awfully excited for this weekend. But really, for Roy to walk away and not do a 1-year retirement party like we see some other coaches doing, for Bubba Cunningham to have the plan in place, for Hubert to wait around and be patient, and anybody else who was involved, that's how you do it. That's how you successfully transition and keep a good thing going. So shout out to them and the leadership there.
Yeah, I think they've made that transition. Oh, here's the point to this, and we'll talk about this in more detail. But if it wasn't for who I root for, I'd have been like on board with other 99.9% of people rooting for St. Peter's. And I love the coach. He's soft-spoken. He's a well guy. And I suspect he'll be the next coach of Seton Hall, which is fine, yeah, because he'll take a salary of $300 and factor it by 10. And that's good for him. But what I wanted to say by that is, with the transfer portal and how it's all working, he has 4 underclassmen in that class. You not think they're going to play at Seton Hall next year?
1 or 2 of them.
Yep. Well, that's the point. And that's the same thing that North Carolina has realized. The first guy that realized the transfer kind of stuff or one and done was Calipari. And then Krzyzewski followed suit. And then now you've got well, okay. But then now you've got a guy like Hubert, who has taken that and realizes that, and also has kids that want to come to North Carolina. And I think that's going to happen to a lot of schools. I mean, I think your school, Iowa, we have the old school. Now, Bill Self is at he's at a place where it's above reproach. So I don't know, but I think, yeah, the landscape has changed and it's very different. And so I agree with you.
And so many examples of where that's been messy, that transition, where the guys have stuck around too long, or like, didn't Bobby Bowden retire and come back, or they go coach somewhere else? there's just so many examples where the egos get in the way, and for everybody to do the right thing, I think they deserve a lot of props.
Hey, as a Tarbuck, can I just say urban?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
well, Woody Hayes that wasn't graceful either on the way out. I mean, there's just so many examples.
Oh, come on.
Rick Pitino.
All he did was hit a Clemson player. That's all. I live in Charlotte. That's okay. Sorry, all you people in orange, but that's, yeah. So, yeah, no, I hear you. I think it's, I think college basketball's, it's interesting to me that this Final Four ended up with 4 blue bloods, and I will give Villanova the blue blood label.
Yeah, they've been the best team in the country. The last 6 years, they've been the most successful team in the country. They are absolutely a blue blood.
And and I love the coach. But he's gotten rid of his haberdashery. What is he doing? He's the best dressed guy ever. But, I think this is part of the process of the NCAA. They're all doing this stuff with the clothing stuff. So it's okay. I like it. But okay, so here's a little tidbit for you folks out there. I did some research this week. So I want you to know, and this is just this is a little insight in the Final Four, which will already give you an idea. So can you tell me who was the lowest seed to win the NCAA men's basketball championship? And
Villanova, 1985.
You cheated.
No, I know that.
Yeah, well, who was the coach?
Massimino.
Okay. And what was the percentage that they shot in the second half?
That I don't know.
Okay, well, I don't remember either.
I do know Ed Pinckney was on the team.
It was like, yes, he was the player of the game, but
Ed Pinckney.
It was over 80. Well, you weren't even born, but it was over 80.
I saw him in the NBA. He played for the Celtics.
Yeah, but it was over. Yeah, well, it was over 80%.
Damn.
I mean, it was crazy, and they beat Georgetown. It was crazy. I had. Well, okay. Here's another little tidbit. So, can you tell me the last college championship game that was played without the shot clock?
82?
No, it was the same game.
Oh,
85.
Yeah, I clearly didn't watch the game.
And here's the other thing. So I told you that was the highest seed to win the national championship with the 8th seed. Okay. That was the last time in the history of the NCAA basketball tournament that a region went chalk. So the East region in 1985 went chalk. Except for, I guess, Villanova wasn't chalk, but, whatever. I don't know how they came up with it.
That might not happen again.
It's not going to happen. So I just wanted to throw that out. I got all that trivia. Oh, we didn't do our shout outs. Who's your shout out?
Yeah, my shout out was Bubba Cunningham, Roy Williams, Hubert Davis, and all the powers that be. That's my shout out.
Yeah, but you had somebody else. You had the I was thinking the shout out of the you got to be a shout out to Gino Auriemma and the Connecticut Huskies. I mean, that's crazy when
they did it again.
Oh my God. But
I've been watching more of that, the women's basketball tournament. They do 4 quarters. It's more old school college basketball. They really pass the ball quite a bit. And I like how they play the first 2 rounds at a home arena. Like Iowa had 20,000 people there to watch them lose.
That is correct. But the regionals should not be that way. So they were playing they were the lower seed and played on their home court.
No, it wasn't their home court, but it was very near.
Yeah. Well, it's like Duke always got to play in Raleigh.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right.
So, or New Jersey. Sorry, all you Duke fans out there, but yeah, I mean, I got my shout outs. One was St. Peter's. That was so much fun. And I'm a North Carolina fan, but good golly, how could you not enjoy that? And to those kids when they're 60 will always remember that. Will always remember that.
You know what they really kept using that was working prior to playing Carolina? A good old fashioned backdoor cut. Love a good, you see that in rec league ball, high school ball, the old backdoor where the guy goes out to the 3-point line, gets his defender, and then sneaks through the back door to the basket. You throw a bounce pass and he lays it in. St. Peter's was really showing those back doors.
Oh, and they played great defense.
Oh, ridiculous. Well, that's the thing I missed in terms of not considering them a potential upset. They had a top 30 defense legitimately in the nation. And for a 15 seed to have that should have stuck out.
Well, that was the whole thing that people missed on North Carolina in that game. They came out and played, I would say, the first half of that game, and I watched North Carolina. That was the best half of defense they had played all year. They were right up there with Arkansas and Texas Tech. I mean, that's
what's changed, I think.
I think that's what gives them a chance about putting Duke down, because Duke will feel the pressure. The only problem is who the referees are. And I'm not being biased here. I'm saying they only have 5 guys. So the reason that Baylor was able to make the comeback is they had a guy foul out and 1 guy thrown out. And, they got 3 guys. So, but I hearken back to UNLV in 1993. They had 5 guys and they won in Charlotte, but they had 5, Larry Johnson or what, I can't remember all of them, but
Greg Anthony.
Oh yeah. I mean, but that was a day of not like that. And then Dean Smith and I'm blanking, Michigan State.
Izzo.
Oh, Izzo always had 8 or 9 guys, always did. And so did Krzyzewski. So they that all changed, and that was different. But anyways, the other one I had, my other shout out I got to do, you got to do this one. Oh, this killed me on Monday. So I turn on the TV, and I'm sorry if you guys are listening out there, but ESPN, you suck. Because I turn on the TV.
What do they do now?
They got the Mike Greenberg morning, whatever the hell they call it.
He's on all hours. He's got his own show.
Get
Up. He's got his own show. He does NBA Countdown.
And they moved the morning show over to another channel. And guess what Get Up did? For the first 20 minutes of both shows, they talked about the Lakers and LeBron James.
And the Cowboys.
The Lakers suck. We don't care.
Did they talk about the Dallas Cowboys?
And then they talked about the NFL and the quarterbacks. And I understand that they pay to do the women's NCAA, but you had a kid who won the match play, who in 4 weeks' time went to number 1 in the world. Nobody ever knew who he was, Scottie Scheffler. Then you had the NCAA and all of the excitement of that. And they didn't talk about it. And they look so absurdly stupid. So I'm calling out Scottie Scheffler because you're awesome and your dad loves you. But I'm also calling out ESPN because your opening shows on Monday, 3/27 or whatever, sucked.
Get up.
So, I'm sorry. If you guys are going to talk about the Lakers, give up on the Lakers. I understand LeBron. I hope they don't make the playoffs because I'm tired of hearing about the Lakers. They don't.
You know what that show does, that Get Up show? It makes me get up out of bed so I don't have to watch that show.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason they call it Get Up. So it's Get Up so you can go back to bed or get another cup of coffee. Sorry, ESPN, wake up. So anyways.
Honestly, though, they don't, not to go off on a sports media rant here, but they don't care. At this point, they're playing the hits, and the hits are LeBron, the Dallas Cowboys, and whatever Stephen A. Smith is mad about on that particular day. Those are the hits.
Yeah, well, I don't even listen to him anymore. So
that's what they got.
he's no different than the FS1 with the guy whose brother's a cook in Chicago who's an idiot.
Oh yeah, Bayless. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Skip Bayless. I mean, Skip, just
His
talk
brother is a
about
hell of a cook,
tacos or something, will you?
Just talk about your brother's tacos.
Yeah, I mean, get off of that stuff. Okay, so we're totally off on tangent now. So, what would you like to talk about, Bill? We'll move on. The NCAA is actually exciting, but
Oh yeah. Well, and just in the spirit of, I feel like this Final Four is going to be the most exciting Final Four of all time if you're a fan there, because you're having an unprecedented. Duke Carolina have never played in the tournament before. Nonetheless, the Final Four. Nonetheless, Coach K's final year. And then, as you mentioned earlier, two legit blue bloods. Kansas basically founded basketball with Naismith. Bill Self's been there now about 15 years. He's got one national title.
Well, ever since Roy left.
And they're a 1 seed every year. They're a dominant program. They have a huge fan base. You know, there's going to be a ton of Jayhawks down there. And then Villanova has been the best team in college basketball the last 6 years.
Yeah, nobody ever.
They're going to have a ton of fans.
Jay Wright's won three, right? Or
yeah, and you know how many NBA players are on this year's Villanova team? 0. So you've got 4 legit blue bloods, 4 passionate fan bases down in New Orleans. It is going to be an absolutely incredible atmosphere. So it got me kind of thinking about my favorite Final Fours of all time. And my personal favorite Final Four of all time is 1995. Do you remember who was probably the most talked about player in the 1995 Final Four?
I do not know, because you threw this up and I was going to say, well, it wasn't LJ.
Oklahoma State Cowboys. That's what team he played for.
Oh, man. I don't know. Who was it?
Big Country, Bryant Reeves.
Oh, yeah, Big Country.
You remember that guy? So you had him. Then you had UCLA with the O'Bannon brothers and Tyus Edney, who beat Missouri on that last-second layup shot. They go on to win the national title. You had Arkansas, which those were my favorite teams as a kid. Nolan Richardson, 40 Minutes of Hell, Corliss Williamson down on the block. And then Carolina was there with Rasheed and Jerry Stackhouse when they were very young.
Rasheed.
So that was actually my favorite. UCLA went on to win that national championship. And then you might recall the next year, UCLA lost in the first round to Princeton as a 2 seed.
Oh,
Pete Carell was the coach of Princeton. So that was my favorite Final Four of all time, 95. UCLA with the O'Bannon boys, Big Country, Oklahoma State, Carolina, and Arkansas with Nolan Richardson.
Now I got to go back to when I was in college. I went to the NIT when it was still, I rode the train from Washington. We had Charlie Scott and Bill Chamberlain, and it was the NIT. And the NIT, by the way, is moving from Madison Square Garden. What the hell are they
really
thinking?
Where are they going?
I don't know. They're going to go to Indianapolis or something. So they'll
the highest bidder.
Well, whatever. But when I was there, I went to, I was sitting around my fraternity house in Chapel Hill. And I was out of state, so I couldn't go home or whatever it was. And it was March. Anyways, we had one of my brothers said, well, we can go down to the ticket office and get tickets to the Final Four. And we said, wow. Really? It's in LA. And so we said, okay. So I won't say what our mental state was and what it was from, but we went down and we did it. We got 4 tickets, and this guy's dad was very wealthy. So he had a credit card and bought airline tickets, and we flew to LA. Well, Carolina was playing. It was at the old University of Southern California arena. It was awful.
Oh, wow.
Back then. And we played
before the TV money, before that 900 million was flowing.
Well, well, here's the deal. I'm going to say it was Jacksonville, but I'm probably missing my years because UCLA won, but we lost. I think we lost, to my son's deference. We lost to Florida State. And all I remember is we went out there, and then we had to stay for the second game 2 days later or whatever. And I went out and threw hot dogs against the wall at halftime because we got killed. But you remember, well, here was the point to this point. Jacksonville that was when the coach was Coach Williams, I think his name was, who's recently, I think, passed away even this week. And he coached Artis Gilmore, and they had 2 7-foot towers. Look them up. Jacksonville, University of Jacksonville. And they lost to UCLA, I think, in 1972, 1971. Anyways, it was a cool trip. So I don't know. I just went off on a tangent.
That's incredible.
There. Yeah, it was awesome. It was the greatest thing ever. Well, yeah, I think this year, to answer your question, if I honestly bet, I think my favorite at this point, not living in the Carolinas, is Kansas. I think
really?
I just think they're the best team. I think Villanova lost one of their great players last week.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, with an Achilles injury. And so, I'm not buying that they could not win, but I just think Kansas will win that game. Duke, Carolina, golly, who knows? Because that's all. I will tell you, folks, I've watched enough of these games over the years. It'll be down to the last 5 minutes, but the first 5-6 minutes of that game will give you a real insight. So if Duke's out there because of Coach K and and everything's on a fire, and they come out and get a 12-2, they might win. But on the other side, if they come out there and they're just on pins and needles, and Carolina says, "Hey, screw this," and they come out and get up, then I think they'll win. So I think Carolina's playing with nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. I really think everybody says pressure's on them. I think the pressure's on Duke, because those kids are out there playing. This is Coach K. We got to get him the championship. So that's just my thought.
I'll be curious to see that, because that was definitely the case for Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor. No doubt about it. And it's been the case. I mean, Texas Tech, Duke got down. What was it? 8-0, 10-2. They were down and they were feeling the pressure then until Coach K made an adjustment and went zone. I wonder at this point, though, if there's a relief. We made it. We've made it to New Orleans. Because even if you lose in the Final Four, okay, you still got there. And I think Duke is going to win. I kind of thought they were going to win it all when Coach K made that weird speech where he told everybody to be quiet after his last game in Cameron Indoor. It just feels like that's the beginning of a documentary as they go to that clip, and that's Coach K is going on. I mean, Duke has the most talent. They have the best player, Paulo Banchero, who didn't play well at all in the last game. I don't think you're stopping that train right now.
Sorry, folks, but I hear you. My take as a North Carolina grad and alumnus and fan is that, it won't surprise me. And I'll be honest with you. I'm all in for, I think Hubert Davis has already achieved more than anything he wanted. I thought if we won one game in the championship and then won 2, and then this is overachieving as far as I'm concerned.
And I'll actually give you a shout out. And Twitter, it's the vocal minority. Everyone just goes there to complain. I get all that, but there were a lot of people complaining about Hubert Davis on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I never heard you say anything other than give it time. He's figuring it out, all that type of stuff. And sure enough, here we are, the end of year 1, and he's figured it out.
Go back and listen to what the old Knicks teammates said about him and stuff. He is what you see on what you saw. He's not Roy. He's not down on the floor slapping and passing out and doing. I love Roy, but he's not.
Yeah,
He's just like. Guys, just this is what it is. It's
Yep.
da 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 da. And even Coach K is emotional.
Oh, yeah. Coach K gets so mad at his players. Yeah. It's uncomfortable to watch it.
Well, my God, the part that Coach K takes, what I will say is he takes the ability to be Bobby Knight. And you can say what you want, but he goes up there and he goes, hey, ref, you suck. You're not calling this. And you can't tell me they're people. He gets in their ear. And, if you have some soft-spoken coach that doesn't go, and you have to go out there and compete with Coach K because that's what he does. Yep. But that's also a great coach. That's, that's how
I do think you've hit on kind of a transition we're seeing between old school coaches like that come from the Bobby Knight school, Coach K, Izzo, Iowa's coach, Fran McCaffrey, the temper tantrums on the sideline. Like, I know they're passionate, but like, I'm over it. And you're seeing Hubert Davis, you're seeing the St. Peter's coach. I think of Shaka Smart. They're more like a football coach, cool, calm, collected. And the other thing is, you don't see them barking at the point guard, hey, I want you to run this play. Like, this isn't high school basketball. Especially, there's a lot of NBA players. Hubert Davis lets them kind of run what they want. And even Coach K, to his credit, you mentioned earlier when he moved to one and dones, he actually does that quite a bit where he's pretty hands off on offense. Whereas you'll see like an Izzo, like every time down, he wants to call the play. Like, dude, you've been in practice enough. These guys are going to be in the NBA soon. They can handle it. And the game's more fun to watch, by the way Hubert Davis does it, where it's just back and forth. And that's what I think this Carolina Duke game will be. Okay, let's flip the switch here, because I was watching the air flight. It was, it wasn't the same thing as 25 years ago when I watched one of my favorite players go off in his airplane and die. But today they showed Tiger's plane going Jupiter. Oh my God, it landed at Augusta. Oh, no kidding. So Tiger went to Augusta to play. I still say this. So many of us want to see him play. Okay. But the deal is, I just don't see him walking that course. But I know he's going to play the par 3 with Charlie, and we know that. And the daughter's going to carry the bags and all that stuff. And he may play. And the deal is, maybe he goes out and plays. And, you have to go back and look up Ben Hogan in 1953 and his injury. After his car crash.
Yeah, you guys, none of you understand. They talk about Tiger's comeback. Ben Hogan died. He had his vena cava ligated. His legs swelled. His ankles were the size of your thighs. He went out and his wife had to put his shoes on. He wrapped his legs in ace wraps, and then he walked the golf courses and won 3 majors the next 2 years after. It's the most amazing story ever. But Tiger is in that same venue, and I give him all the credit for coming out and playing. But I think if he comes out and plays 2 rounds and doesn't make the cut and just walks the course, that'll be great.
Yeah, well, that'll be better than what Phil will be doing.
Yeah, well, let's not. I don't even want to. I don't want to even go there, because I don't even want to go there. I think there's issues there with gambling rehab and whatever. I mean, that's who knows. But I also I want to do a shout out to Charlotte, Gastonia native, which is Charlotte. To Harold Varner III is gonna play his first Masters.
He was one of the last 5 invites, right?
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
I saw him today, and I told him, well, you need to practice putting, and I showed him the dining room table in the men's grill and said, just put your ball down there and practice putting, because that's what you're going to go to. He laughed, but he's a nice guy, and I'm all excited for him. So
It'd be great. It'd be great to see him make the cut, really. And he's had he won this year, right?
Well, you know,
Or he came close.
He's won. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. He won over in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
And
he's had a good year so far.
Oh, he's doing great. And he, you know what he is? He's a scorer. Here's the deal. If you ever know anything about scoring, here's the name to throw out there. Tommy Two Gloves, who's a South Carolina guy. I don't know if that's a slight or whatever to Harold, but I think it's he's a scorer. He just knows how to play. He's just a nice guy. So I wish him all the luck in the world. So
that'd be great. That'd be a great story.
See how that goes. Well, I gotta you got anything else you want to talk about, or want me to throw out my quotes?
Oh, you can throw them out. Should be a hell of a Final Four. Sounds like you're on. Sounds like you're on Carolina to beat Duke and Kansas to win it all, and I'm on Duke over Kansas.
Yeah, but I got to have all my. Here we go. I'm going. There you go. Oh, wait a second. I can't wear all these glasses.
I was going to say, you look like you're about to get LASIK or something.
Yeah, there you go. Now I'm in full Carolina gear, guys. So here's what we got to say. So I got two quotes. They're Tiger Woods. One, it's kind of boring, but he basically says, there's always stuff to work on. It works in anywhere you go.
You can apply that to any aspect of life, and it's always true.
And then here's my favorite. It's a hockey quote. You know what it is? It works for Michael Jordan too. It works for Tiger Woods too. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep. Shoot, baby. Shoot your shot.
I'll tell you what, folks, that works for everything you do in your life. If you don't try, you can't win.
And now's the time, by the way. Shoot your shot out there.
And for all you people who've never been to He's Not in Chapel Hill or Top of the Hill, if you come to North Carolina and you go to Chapel Hill and you go to Franklin Street, you don't go there, you're an idiot. And by the way, we would like your support, Top of the Hill and He's Not. But
yeah, let me give a plug. You really got to go to both those. He's Not here. You can go outside. There's a nice tree in the patio. You get a big ass beer. It's a great vibe. You can see some of the college kids, but not be overwhelmed by them. And then Topo, they got their own beer, their own liquor. They're literally at the top of the hill, a beautiful balcony overlook. Two finest. I tell you what, I plan on going to both of those establishments when I go to the UNC Notre Dame game this fall. You can't miss with those two places. And Chapel Hill will be a fun place to be Saturday night, because I don't think most of the students are going to have free tickets like you did, or some dude's parents' credit card to fly down there. I just don't think it's going to. I think they're going to be in Chapel Hill.
That guy, by the way, that guy was from Rocky Mountain. I got to be careful because I don't want to get him in trouble 50 years later.
His old man's going to send him a bill with interest.
Well, I doubt his old man's still around, but he was a great guy. And so thanks for sending us. Just for all you folks out there, just remember it's Picking and Putting. We're on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and all those things. And Fireside, that's our new place. So look for us there. Liberty Bill, Dr. Z, we enjoyed having you. We'll see you next week. We're going to have some exciting guests coming up, by the way, but I won't get into that. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for being here, Bill.
So long, everybody.